But I want to talk about this legendary video where this lady's going to hold those women accountable.
This is my whole problem. This is the purpose of me doing this video, because 9 times out of 10, when you meet these men, the signs are already there on what type of father they would be for your child. It's not all of a sudden, now that you have a child from them, you starting to see stuff that you didn't see before. Point in case, I hear a lot of females that sit there and say, well, I didn't know he was that crazy. He didn't act like that when I first got with him. He wasn't that kind of person. He was a totally different person when I first got with him. That's a bunch of bull. You had to see something, even if it was just 1 or 2 things. You saw something there before you got in bed with this man and used no protection. I had a child from him. You saw something there. Let me tell you. For example, a man ain't got to show how psycho or off the chain he is for you to find out, damn, this nigga crazy. I don't need to have any children from him.
I want to give a shout out to Mocha's Cafe. Lady Mocha, check her out. She's
And was she lying, ladies? Like when women are saying, I had no clue he was narcissistic and toxic. They had no clue, really?
I agree. I think you have some men who like to lie to you, but I think for the most part, men show you who they are. And if it's only about if you're paying attention to their actions, though. And women don't usually pay attention to actions. We usually get caught up on their words. And as long as their words sound good, we usually don't give a damn what they're doing. And that's where we lose.
First step in problem solving is identify the problem. Most people don't do that. So if you want to know why these women are making these decisions, go ask them what they know, ask them what they were taught to do, and actually do this thing that people are allergic to doing called listening. Then ask more questions. But go look around to your left, your right, the black, the white, the Asian, anywhere, and ask yourself, where do you see an environment where people actually taught relationship skills? Go look around and see where people were taught child rearing, critical thinking, decision making. It ain't gonna be there. But they were taught shame, neglect, and abuse, which tears up the brain during the development stages of the brain. That's science. Then you see it in the very behaviors, and it just repeats and repeats and repeats, like the dust panels. We say we're gonna hold them accountable. Accountable to what? Ain't no standards. I don't know what they are. Standards? I don't know. The only standard I know is if you don't do what somebody says, they don't say do something negative. Then I gotta troll them.
I got a question. So you said during the development stages, you shouldn't use, shame and stuff. What years are we talking about there?
Honestly, all of them, but the most critical I think is 0 to 8.
There we go. I know. Yes, I think it's 0 to 8, and around year 5 and 6 are absolute most critical. And that's the thing. At age 5 and 6, shouldn't be getting no shame. Shouldn't be shaming no young human at that age. Now, because we talked about this before, I do believe at a certain age, definitely not when they kids. You don't shame no kid.
Don't shame anybody, to be honest.
And I don't think that's necessarily true. You don't think so? When we say shame, we talk about shame a person for doing something wrong. Say, hey, don't do that. That is foul. That's disgusting. Shame them. Have some shame in doing that horrendous act. You don't think that is effective. You think that causes more harm than good.
Pretty much.
How so exactly?
First, the people doing the shaming, they did something 15 minutes ago. They're doing something now. They're lying, and don't nobody trust nobody. So if I do something, here comes some old drunk Dusty telling me what I'm supposed to be doing. Really, bruh? I know you. You look just like the other Dusty that was doing something else.
I agree with that. Ain't no young person or person that needs counseling or guidance gonna listen to. I agree to no drunk. Nobody I see constantly doing wrong. Now you're gonna come try to correct.
Right, me. And they didn't even ask why. Right, they didn't even ask me what I was doing, why I'm doing. Just start talking. Just like the dust panels, then it goes back and forth. Men's, women's, men's is simp, beta, all other dumb stuff. The usual. Versus saying, why is this behavior happening? Where did it come from? What is the actual goal? Where are we actually trying to go? and actually listen and trying to redirect behavior. Like everything you learn in education or any leadership books, which leadership is a curse word. In anything leadership, everything is more towards optimism, which people can't do that. Everybody negative. It's towards person's own personal goals, about influence, showing proper examples, modeling behavior, everything opposite of what you see. The pastors, the what you call them, content creators, whatever, they married and beating, cheating on their wife as soon as they click the link. The talking point mafia, everything got to be what Kevin Samuel said. He didn't turn into God all of a sudden. Can't say nothing against the data versus actual realistic behavior, realistic life. And I already know it's 5 people probably in the chat waiting now because I said something they don't want to hear and they weren't listening. They hear 1 word, 2 words. They firing up 15 talking points. Beta, simp. This is so if this is man behavior, what you expect a woman to look like on the other side? And what do you expect from the kids that's listening in the hallway?
I just want to ask the ladies here on the panel and the ladies in the chat a question, because we're going to flip the good and make it bad and make the bad good. So with this, ladies, if your children brought home at 88% across the board on their report card, every subject was 88%, would you be happy and approve that?
I would.
Your child has a high B average. Let me break it down for the ladies because y'all struggle with numbers.
No, I don't struggle with numbers. I heard exactly what you said.
High B average. So would y'all prove that your child is doing good in school, right?
I would say that they're doing good.
Okay, so everybody be happy with that. So we're gonna take that same number and flip it upside down. So now that 88% is bad and the 12% is good. And the reason why I put it like that is because and I'm going back to the video with Ebony K. No, to the first video with the young men and the older women at 40. And at by age 40, a woman's percentage rate of having a healthy baby without any special needs or actually having that pregnancy go full term is 12.8%. 12.8%. So she has an 80% chance of that child by that young man to either come out special needs or she may somehow not carry that birth to term because of her age. So is that bad?
Yes, and I also believe that 12% is taken from the majority or average of women. Now, Drea seems to be very much in shape. Now, first off,
it doesn't matter about her shape; it's her inside parts.
Right, that's what I'm saying. What I mean by is your shape. A lot of times is showing us what you're eating, what you're drinking, what you're doing. Do I think it's safe? No, but my mom was 35 when she had me, and she was 38.
I was 38.
I don't suggest it. I don't suggest it. The older you get, it's harder to have children. But what I'm saying is that we're also looking at a very rare situation. I think that you should have children at an age where it's not as high of a risk. But I mean,
but even listen, the age is at like 32. So even at 32, 35, there still is a 90% of that being a high risk pregnancy.
I didn't say I suggest.
No, I'm just saying. So that is not a good thing for women, whether he's 22 or 52, to be out here because she's not getting married. She's just securing the bag. That's all she's doing. She's looking for her retirement. He's going to retire her. Now, the sad thing about it is when his playing days are over, he's still going to be held accountable for the salary that he made at 21, 22. So when he get ready to go to court, he's going to be crying like, man, they need to lower my child support. So it's going to hurt him. So for the average guy, don't have no children out of wedlock. And you got to think about today, Heathen Queen, I'm disappointed in you because you're an older woman, probably just as old as me or older. We are not giving our children the right information on how to put themselves in the best position, because the best position for a Black woman, whether they believe it or not, is to be married.
Okay.
We've seen 40 years of women crying about being single parents. And understand, when those 2 million women that were extra in our community, because we were married at 80%, and it was always more women in America than men, based off what they want to go bring. They always bring more women, so there's more women. Those women took those Section 8 housing, those welfare, because everybody here probably have a cousin or probably lived in the projects at some point in their life. because parents were still trying to make it. Okay.
I'm confused. What am I advocating? What was I advocating?
For the women to settle for certain things, and for the women to not, it's like the guy. It's like y'all blame it on the guys not being there. But,
I'm lost. You got to give me something specific.
Okay, I'll come back to it because I'm trying. I don't want to. I'm trying to finish what I had in my notes. Now, just in that time, men and women, the women continue to give the wrong information because your best protection going forward in the future is to be married. But society understands that as long as you stay separated from us, they're going to continue to get y'all to spend billions of dollars on these fake wigs and come outside with orange hair. They're going to continue to do that. It has to change. We're at a dire situation, and the fact that we continue to spill the same information as far as go out and do all of these things, because these women are going on 50 years old and they still single and they still losing. The men have been thriving regardless of not just those that are in power putting their foot on our neck. We still out here working. If a man making $50,000 a year for 20 years, he's doing good if he has no children. And now the women are separating themselves even more. Our youngest generation of women are separating themselves even more. They saying, I don't want to get married, but 5 women are getting pregnant by one guy. It's almost 65% of our men are childless and single who are way younger than me. These guys are out here grinding, but the women don't even want to touch face with them and work with them. If the world was to go down today, y'all women go be out there by yourself. Because the white man ain't taking y'all, and they only take the fit and the feminist. They don't get with big boned Jaleisha. If you look at any video, those white guys are taking the fittest of our women and the most submissive, the most cooperative, the things that y'all won't give us. They're not taking no 55-year-old. They want a 30-year-old Meek, and she's at the cutoff point. But Meek gonna have to be submissive in that house. She gonna have to have her food ready. She ain't gonna be able to be on here talking about nobody. And he's grooming her to talk about the deficiencies of the man. I'm sorry, I'm done.
This is my thing, Q, real quick. You can't maintain what you don't value. And I think that's the problem with the women. If they don't value who they are, they won't maintain themselves. And so I think when we talk, it can come off as that we are maybe giving passes, but that's not the case. We're just saying if you don't start from the root of the problem, you cannot fix anything. We can sit here and say, maintain your value, young lady, but we see what's happening in the homes. They don't know how to, just like they don't know the, like, that's all I'm saying. So when we have to critique on both sides as well. Like you said, men know that they have to bring it up here. Women have to maintain it, but we have a brainwashing system that has been put in place to where women don't even realize they're here. They think they're here. So that's where I think the issue is. So
I'm not saying either one of you two are doing that. What I'm saying is that, and this is not just a black thing too. This is just a Western civilization type thing, because if women want men to be at a certain level, and them asking in that is not even a problem. It's not a problem that they're asking for it. The problem is that when these men reach that level, are they getting their money's worth? And that's always going to be the question. And I don't know how we're going to overcome that outside of, like we were talking about, and guys and girls in the chat, don't come at me. If sex is always on the table without marriage, we're never going to win this thing. I'm just telling you guys that right now. We're never going to win it.
Yeah, that's
true. We're just never going to win it. We're always going to be trying to play catch up, and we're always going to lose. So we have to determine what's more important: the perpetuation of our community, and I put that in quotes because we truly don't really have one, or we're going to keep on doing what we're doing and complain forever, which is probably the case.
Hey Q, I had a question for you.
But I will always be. I'm gonna be in the chats because I love to laugh on my Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Sundays. But I think that when we're really ready to have a real conversation, I think we can get past this. But I think people have to accept the numbers. If 20% of the men are what women want, so I'm looking at where I am and saying, okay, if you guys want the top 20. And you don't want to share, which I don't advocate that, by the way, then what are you talking about? we're never going to get past this. There are always going to be a medium income in America. You need to accept that. With all ladies all over the world, you need to accept that. There will always be a median income. So don't come at us talking about all black men need to be up at
Nobody is
a
saying
level.
that
It would never happen.
It's going to be a medium income. We understand that. But even within that medium income, even if it's, you know what, I want to stop smoking cigarettes. I want to stop drinking Hennessy. That's what I'm saying. It's not a financial bracket. You have
that's usually the argument, though.
Because that's normally the conversation. That's normally what we're talking about. We're normally
Hey,
talking
Q,
about.
can I ask you a question before you disappear?
Oh yeah, I'm gonna stay on the pattern. I was just in case I forget to say later when you guys wonder if I died or something. Now I've been on the pattern.
Yeah, can I ask you a question before you disappear?
Yep.
Here the deal is, the 20% of desired men.
Mm-hmm.
You hear all the women talking all this financial and trips and all this other dumb shit that they never seen, and the men ain't never been there either.
Mm-hmm.
That means it's dust. It's actually a lie. But if you actually go talk to the 20% of men, you'll find out that they either have attraction, a combination of attraction and communication, which is relationship skills. Mm-hmm. Some of it's lies and scams. Let's be right. I mean, all people ain't good. Attraction and communication trump all. Meaning there's a dude at the Amazon warehouse that's smashing more women than the whole damn complaining, crying ass chat.
Mm-hmm.
And this dude's in there 6-7 figures sending $500 super chats because he's mad because a Wigosaurus won't even call him back. This is facts. And you see this from panel to panel to panel to panel to panel to panel to panel. And they're talking all this leadership stuff, but they following Kevin Samuels talking points. Half of them didn't even make sense. They still think about this logical, masculine, feminine, traditional. Tradition was a lie. All of it. And 80% of the 95% of the talking point mafia is arguing about the junk. When the real conversation is about relationship skills and attraction. These are obvious facts.
Which part of tradition you talking about is a lie? What tradition is you speaking on when you speaking on tradition is a lie? Explain that.
Give me something. What you got about tradition?
Like you speaking on tradition.
Well, let me ask this. Let me ask him this.
What you got?
Are you saying that your grandma and them is the same as these women today?
Worse. Next question.
They were worse.
Pretty much, yes.
How so?
Worse. Next question.
How so?
Put it this way. Back in the day, they said we was made at an 80-90% rate. We was a community. No, they weren't. They didn't like each other. Nobody did. Beating, stabbing, heroin, crack, all of the above. But somehow the new generation.
Stop it. You talking crack era. You talking
somehow,
after slavery, the first generation.
I don't know. I'm talking 50s, 60s. The people I can talk to that are still alive.
After slavery was a horrible time. Most of our black men couldn't find jobs.
No, we speaking about hold on. We speaking about the women's character.
Okay, I was talking.
People had none of that. We speaking about the character of the women.
Okay, I was talking about 50s, 60s, 70s, or maybe from 30s on.
Even
the older women that I've seen.
Women went worse than today.
The church. I'm talking about all that.
The women were
if
worse.
Those women were so great and those men were so great.
We ain't doing all the. Were those women worse?
Man, it was some
worse than these sexy red and these Glorilla women.
Man,
we
need to have a competition. We need to have a generation Olympics. I don't know. It'd be a competition.
Hold on, G Honda. That's what we're talking about as far as traditional and modern. These are.
I can answer it.
Stop, Crystal.
They didn't let me answer.
Everybody stop. Your great grandmama and them were traditional,
and they were
no, they were modern.
We're speaking of modern times versus traditional. Words
I can't answer that question.
So look up the words. What do traditional and modern mean?
I can't answer the question. So I mean,
I would like to just add being a woman because it's like men love to speak on women, but they
it's our we date y'all. It's our observable reality.
Right, but what we're saying,
y'all acting like our hands is in the sand and we
look.
What's going on.
Gavin,
we know exactly what's going on.
Gavin, I just said last week that I felt like Hold'em was at an all-time high. But what we're saying is that you're asking us a question about a group of people who were traumatized and husbands were having a horrible time. Look at Alabama in the 1960s, even it still looked like slavery was going on, the way those people were treated and how poor they were. So my thing is, no, women were not in a good position.
All around the question, though, we're not talking about slavery time. I want to get Trey in here. We're talking about the women's their software, how they went about life, where they walk around the streets twerking.
Of course, we know that's not good.
I tried to give you an answer, but you didn't want it.
Would you go and get Trey in here? Get in there, Trey.
I tried to give you the answer. You asked the question. I was give you an answer.
There are no traditional women. There are only modern women.
Today, as of today.
Women.
Okay. Listen, from the end of slavery to the 1960s.
Go ahead and start with the lie.
From the end of slavery to the 1960s, we had, listen, go back and study the Pullman Porters. If you haven't heard of them, go look at them. Go look at the Pullman Porters. They'll tell you everything black we were. Go look at the Pullman Porters. That's all I'm going to say. Do your research. Y'all like to look up stuff. Look it up while I'm talking. Listen, we had 100 good years. Think about all the $1 million communities we established coming from nothing, from the end of slavery. We had Oklahoma all over the country. That's just the one that got highlighted. We had women from, you can go look at your great grandma. Now, I ain't talking about your grandmama that's 55 like me. She might have been out there. She might have been in the back seat of the Jeep. She might have been that one. But I'm talking about that grandmama that wore her blouse up to her neck and them 3-inch heels and that black, and she wore a blouse, a skirt. What is that? I don't know, a slip under her skirt. See, I'm talking about those grandmamas, the ones that didn't show you no leg. We had 100 good years where our community was, even if grandfather died, the grandmama raised the community. That's why everybody had the big mama, because everybody went to her house out of respect and they respected her. You couldn't do certain things around her. She didn't let you smoke or drink nowhere near her house. We had those times. Now, you 40, 45, when crack hit the street strong, you was a kid. Y'all mamas and uncles and aunties and cousins, they was either killed or just put out there in the street. So I can understand how y'all see that fight. But since that time, it's only been like that. I graduated high school in 1986, and I can go in any community, anywhere. I had family living in Chicago, used to go up there. Man, wasn't nobody out there offing us like that. We was walking around.
Damn lie.
Well, in small numbers. Crack hit the scene when I came out of high school. When crack hit the scene when I came out of high school, the numbers went up.
Public information. The worst violent crime rate was 92 and 93.
92, 93, I was out of high school. The crack era was at its all-time high in 92, 93. You was a kid in 92, 93. You saw this. I'm talking that time. When I was coming up in 15, 17, it wasn't like that. The women were slim. Even the girl that was big, guess what? She was just tall. She might have weighed 145 pounds, 150 pounds.
That part
and
is
she
true.
had body. She didn't have
that's
28
that
triple Ds at 16, 18. She wore C cups. Now y'all wearing five
Do you
L
know that's
cups.
because of the hormones put into our food?
And it's because of lack of mobility. Y'all are lazier than the women back then. Women were at the park all day. Now women ain't going to sweat out that weave today. It's a different time. The women are so caught up in what society says. This is what you do. Everything y'all do, y'all separate yourself from us. Listen,
can I jump in real quick?
You got, yes. Man, brother, save yourself. Don't have no children out of wedlock.
Look, the thing is, nobody can argue that women were more wholesome. Nobody can argue that our grandparents were more wholesome and held higher values and were not walking around with booty cheeks hanging out, unless it was the 60s. But the whole point is that, nobody is saying that, women are not as, they're not more, they don't seem to be more promiscuous than they are. But what I'm saying is that nobody's arguing that. But what we're arguing is that to sit here and say that the software of those women back then were somehow on point, we wouldn't be in the situation that we're in now. Were things Did things look better?
His head
Yes.
was on point.
But it lasted for such a short period. Obviously, if it was completely where it needed to be, we wouldn't be here right now. And we already know the outside circumstances. But what I'm saying is that regardless, nobody wants to take any accountability. The men in the 80s and the 70s want to put it off on them. Then they want to put it off on that person. Nobody looks at 2024. Forget the past. I mean, not forget the past, but at the same point, I know I as hell didn't do it. I didn't indulge in the crack era, but my point is this. We don't have the right to sit here and just say that, oh, well, screw all the women now and we're doomed and whatnot. No, like we need, y'all say leadership so much, like they always say, but it's like screw the leadership.
Nobody said that.
Nobody said that.
It's often we not addressing that the women even and I'm not trying to throw a shot at the women on the panel right now, but they held responsibility for a lot of the women that are left to discover themselves. They're not giving them the proper guidance to even go out and like the young men. We've been discussing Jalen. What's his name? Jalen Green. Jalen Green. All right. So why wasn't it a younger woman that was available to that would incite him to go away from the older woman and see the value in the younger woman? Why wasn't it a woman available for that?
Do you think he was being monogamous with that woman?
No, he wasn't.
All right, then. So that answers your question. That answers your question.
Well, I still want the question I want the perspective to be known that this probably wasn't his baby. We don't know. But the thing is, why isn't the older women teaching the younger women what they need to know and to move with the proper guidance and the right blueprint to move in life instead of them? Because Q just said a while ago, he said that the women don't know their value. Reason why they don't know their value is because the older women are not teaching them their value. They're giving them the wrong blueprint. If they don't have the right blueprint, how can you expect them to make better choices? The reason why they choosing nug because there should not be a nug. The children, the nug are created by the bonquishas, the ones that should not be out here producing undisciplined, unstructured, not covered under any type of structure. So the fact that we not looking where this stuff come from, it definitely is overlooked. It's overlooked spaces that we're not addressing. And a lot of those black women on those panels, they did not address any of those things. They did not talk about where these men, all they cared about was this man meeting all her checks. That's it. They ain't go no further than that. They didn't hold any women responsible for creating these men. Because if that was the case that they were right, why come we are having discussions that are touching these points? But I think I want to leave that there. I got some more things I want to talk about when we get to those discussions, but the blame is not on the man. And I really don't like the fact that they're just putting everything on the man and they're not taking responsibility for choosing to be uncovered and to go out and be an adult. I've developed a certain no sympathy and empathy for this message that's being put out there for women to just go out and be uncovered and just go out and be adults and then blame on the man for not being available to them. You didn't get the right. You need to go back to where it came from. You need to look back where it came from first.
Let me speak
about
it came from men, to be honest. That's where it came from.
About the Jalen situation. Jalen, he wanted her to get pregnant. He wanted her to get pregnant. See, I'm one of those women who come from this direction. You had sex with that woman without protection. So you whizzed in that woman. So the minute you whizzed in that woman, you gave her permission to have control over your body, over your sperm. You gave her permission. That tells me you are giving me permission to do what I want to do with your whiz. So that my body, my choice, you gave me the choice. The minute you whizzed in my body, okay? And everybody on this planet over the age of 18 knows there is birth control, not to get pregnant, not to get somebody pregnant. Period.